Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me as always is Scribe, and some dumb American decided to join us tonight for a little talk about Twitter and Minds.com. Say hi, guys.
Hi
Hi
guys.
guys.
The reason I decided to do this was because Marty lost his Twitter account again. For those of you who don't know Marty,
Oh, again?
again, he was suspended and got it back. I want to say just within the last couple of days.
Okay.
And I don't know what he did. I haven't seen that anywhere yet. And as far as I know, even he doesn't know what happened. But the interesting part to me is that he just started his his YouTube channel, and he's decided to quit it because of losing Twitter, which I think is a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Twitter is definitely helpful. Nobody can argue that they're not influential, but they are losing influence, and there are other avenues to still grow a channel. And I was just wondering what you guys thought about
Well,
where.
I think personally, I think that giving up on YouTube altogether because Twitter is weird is a little silly. Um Especially because there's so much networking that you can do on other social media platforms and just on YouTube. He's already a stream whore that knows everybody.
Yeah, exactly. He's
So
got the network.
I don't necessarily think that Twitter would have, I mean, like you said, of course it helps, but I think that the fact that he already knows everybody is a lot more influential than whether or not he has a Twitter account.
Well, I'm really hoping that part of his response is just that initial emotion of, oh, fuck this, and that he comes away from that. But I just don't think Twitter is as necessary as it used to be. Who called me? Why are you calling me a monkey whore? I am not a whore. Damn it.
We established you admitted you were a whore.
No. I said I was accused of being a whore.
Well, you called yourself a slut.
See, that's different.
Well, okay, you didn't take any money. Well, no, wait, you took gifts. You took gifts. You're a whore. You already said that. We had this conversation.
I did not take. Okay, I took a couple.
You took gifts.
Back to the point.
Anyway, back to the point.
Do you guys both use Minds? Are either of you on there? I know SDA
I'm
is
on there, and I haven't touched it since I signed up.
If it wasn't for Minds, I wouldn't be a YouTuber because I wouldn't have met Bear.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
you met him on Minds.
Yeah, as soon as the secret got out from Dave Cullen as to exactly what he was talking about as an alternate platform, I went and signed up back in September, and yeah, it was just a random message from Irate. I don't know how I ended up subscribed to him, or I just got a random thing on my feed of him saying, "I'm bored and want to stream. Anybody want to join me?" Which is a very familiar refrain these days.
Hey, Marty's in the chat. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Marty. And yeah, so I joined a stream for the first time, talked to him for 5 minutes, and thought, gee, if this idiot can do it, I can do it. So that's how.
I like Minds, but I think they need some serious help over there.
Oh yeah, it's messy. It's not. I mean, like I don't understand why some things appear in my feed and other things don't. It's a work in progress.
Well, yeah, that's why I picked it up, and I was like, I'll use it, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that look, no brand new social media platform that's going to end all social media platforms is going to be perfect on launch day. But I don't know if it's viable or not. But a lot of people seem to think that it is. So we'll see.
They definitely need to fix their app because their mobile app sucks. It is so bad. Yeah,
but I think like in my next, the video, by the way, Ranting Monkey and I are doing a collab that's coming out next year.
Yes.
And so the video after that, or whatever video I do by myself that goes up next, I'll probably be like, I have a Minds account. Go something.
I link my videos on Minds and use the boost there just because it's a good way to get some exposure, and it's
Yeah, don't you get like a free boost or whatever? Like you don't actually.
If you log in, if you check your feed every hour, you get 100 extra boosts.
That depends.
That number has varied depending on different things, but yeah, at least that's the current thing. It used to be like some random number between 1 and 50 or something, but now I think it's a standard 100 now.
It was up until a few hours ago. I've started getting the 70 and that stuff again.
No,
But anyway,
no
what you do is you take those points and you can use them to boost your post up to 5,000 points, and it'll be viewed by at least that many people.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's helpful.
it really is.
I like that. It's not that I don't like it. It's just screwy.
It is. It took me probably 2 months to get comfortable over there.
Yeah, I'll have to play with it.
The hard part is that it doesn't have a good feed. So like the people that you
No.
follow, you have to actually go looking for their posts half the time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. Like, I'm not subscribed to, I think, 90% of the things that end up in my feed, so I don't understand why they're there.
Well, I guess if you're boosting it, then it's going to show up for people who aren't.
Yeah,
Up
that's
to you.
probably so, but that's a little. Yeah, there's got to be a balance to it because it looks like a bunch of garbage most of the time.
And it doesn't change very. I mean, I've seen like for the whole day the same posts in my feed.
Yeah.
So it has problems, but I do like mine's, and
I think it'll get better. I mean,
well, I have it on some authority that there has been big names involved in trying to. I don't want to give anything away because I don't have permission to speak about this, but they are working on things and they're expecting some big update.
Mhm.
well, that's good. Yeah, I'm on there. It's just some dumb American with no spaces. So if you wanna,
I'll occasionally upload copies of my videos there as sort of like backup, or at least things that are small enough. I don't know what the time limit or size limit is on what you can upload for videos straight
I
there.
also saw something on there. Just like thumbing through it, I guess it looks like you can get ad revenue and stuff from there.
They're starting to monetize it, I hear. I haven't looked into it any deeper than just knowing that they have started some options for that.
What they have now is just kind of weird where you can, the way I understand it, you pay somebody to boost your video and you can make money that way if you have a big enough channel. But yeah, they're supposed to be monetizing more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
But
interesting. Anyway, but let's talk about Twitter, I guess, since
it has become just a shithole. You can't say anything over there anymore.
I don't know, like I've never had issues with it, I guess. I mean, I said that if you agree with Charming Man, you're automatically autistic because he said that buying secondhand lingerie was what you should do, and I just fucking lost it. I'm sorry, that's not okay.
Secondhand underwear? What?
Yeah, no, in his video it was like
Yeah.
he was criticizing a video where it was like women spend a lot of stuff on stuff, so you should pay for the date. And he was like, well, you can just buy secondhand lingerie from a charity shop. And I was like, are you nuts?
Well, you can. There are vending machines in Japan where you can get used underwear
But that's
Why?
to sniff.
because Japanese men are weird and they want
That's
to like
to
sniff.
sniff, not to
Yeah.
wear it.
How do you know? You don't know what they do behind closed doors.
I think she just told us what she does behind closed doors.
As far as Twitter, I've seen a lot of screen caps and things lately of people showing how they've been effectively shadow banned. And Mr. Metokur put out a really good video like a week ago or whatever about throttling and Twitter throttling. So if you want to find out more about that, I recommend anybody in the chat to go look at that because Twitter is taking an active role in policing and pushing away language or unwanted speech. And then Sargon, I think just yesterday, put up something about that social blade, or not social, but shout. What do they call it on Twitter? It's like a shout out thing or a blast or something. I forget. Anyway, it was about gas the jokes.
Oh
There's
yeah,
this
yeah.
hashtag, and there's going to be a big thing about it. And then as many responses as it got, it should have been on the trending hashtags list based on the numbers, but it wasn't. It was beaten out by things that had lesser numbers, which means that something in there was being suppressed. So yeah, Twitter is being language police and tone policing.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts. First of all, Mara brought up, because he did say this. I'm sorry, this was just too much for me to handle. He said, just look after them and no one will know they're secondhand, which I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so to talking about Twitter, so what I hate on the mobile app is it'll be like 10 replies and I'll click on it and it'll show me 2. What is it doing?
Yeah, for something that's been around that long, it has way more bugs than it still should.
I don't get it. Why is it doing that on purpose? It didn't used to do that. Because it'll be like, you have 4 replies, and I just look at it and it's like, there's nothing here.
Well, I was never a big Twitter fan. The only reason I got on Twitter is because of my YouTube channel.
The only reason why I started using social media is because of YouTube.
Yeah,
Like, you can't dox me because you can't find me on any social media platforms where I'm not SDA because I didn't use them.
I didn't get Twitter until YouTube. I watched Twitter a lot, especially during Gamergate, because it was like having a live feed of just insanity back and forth, and I followed the story that way. But I stayed far, far away from Twitter. I've never had a personal Twitter account. I have Facebook, but outside of Facebook and Twitter, and I guess Minds, but Facebook is a personal thing, and then Twitter and Minds are all just my my YouTube persona or whatever. So
I loved Facebook, and I still like it because I have family that I can connect with that is all across the country.
right.
Yeah, I
But-
literally took down my Facebook page.
I hate Twitter because of the limit. Every time I go to have a thought, I have to figure out how to make it dumb enough to fit there.
Right?
Yeah.
And how much text lingo you can fit in.
Yeah. That's another great thing about Minds. There's no fucking limit there. But it's
Mhm.
also a bad thing because sometimes you come across freaking walls of text and
Yes.
they need to have it where it has a read more link.
Yeah, the freaking Communist Manifesto got copied and pasted one time. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it definitely has its
Like, there
drawbacks.
kind of needs to be maybe like a 500 character limit or something like that.
Or at least a point at which it goes below the fold and it has to read more, like Monkey was saying, like on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like, it hits 300 characters and it just cuts off. And then
And it's like, yeah, we get it. Shut up. Nobody cares.
But man, you want to look at? I mean, I've never seen more interesting conspiracy theory posts than on Minds.
Yes.
Because man, there's so I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? It's like live action. It's like watching a Twilight Zone episode in my living room or something.
I also like that a few social justice warriors have started creeping in over there, and I don't think they're gonna like it.
No, I noticed how at least most of the stuff I was seeing, at least when I first started, was all very, let's just say it's in the realm of Dave Cullen-esque. I think Dave Cullen probably promoted that thing bigger than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be sort of skeptic community central. Every time I say that phrase, I keep cringing.
Oh my goodness. Just
I know. I
It'll
know.
be okay.
I know. But anyways,
It's a community. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
We'll all be good.
It was either
promise.
conspiracy theories or softcore porn or anti-feminist stuff was mostly what I saw, and a lot of like guys who wanted to try to help with the open source project of it too.
And I approve of all of those things. How did you guys get discovered for your channels?
What?
Well, one of the things that Marty has an issue with, and I do agree that you need Twitter for some exposure, but for me personally, Twitter didn't really help me all that much.
Well, I guess maybe for me it was a little bit different because I started making videos in May of 2015. And,
Damn, you're old school.
and I stopped for about 6 months. 6 or 7 months, and then I came back, and I had like 325 subscribers when I left, and so obviously I've grown a lot since then. But so I actually streamed with Sargon on his gaming channel, or like it was Victus. I think it's now like the new whatever it is. But I streamed with him
How'd you get in there?
a while back. I had a friend who was just like, "Hey, can we play Cards Against Humanity?" And he was like, "Sure." And we did it.
Cool.
So that's just what happened. I don't think Sargon would remember me, but that's okay. So like as far as being discovered, it's a little bit difficult. And I kind of find that harassing people on Twitter, like mass tweeting creators, your videos doesn't really help that much.
Well, I'm not a huge channel. I just passed 10,000 and I get so much stuff sent to me. I cannot look at it all. The place I notice people most, honestly, is in my comments. When I'm scrolling through them, I hover over people and see if they have a channel.
Yeah, that's normally where I'll find people. If I see them saying like smart stuff in the chat of my streams, or I see them in my channels, or if they're just intelligently interacting with me. And I think at some point you just get, I don't know, like you either like get onto a stream, you talk somebody into collabing with you or whatever, and then it just kind of happens.
Yeah, that for me, I mean, Bering noticed me in comments and went and saw my videos and liked one. Twitter is like I said, it definitely does help, but I don't think it's that necessary anymore.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I had Teal Bear like 2 of my videos,
Nice.
which I like.
Still think he's an ass, but nice.
It was before he was an ass.
Scribe's quiet over there. He's plotting.
No, I'm trying. I have to make a thumbnail for my my video.
Oh, it's right.
here.
He's uploading a video, guys.
Yeah,
So
I
watch
did
that
just
later.
finished uploading, so I'm just about to post it. How did I get discovered? I think probably the biggest boost I ever had was you linking back to my video.
Oh, that's right. Because I
Okay.
accidentally did a video that you had done, and I didn't even realize it.
No, this you would no.
Oh.
It was the 2 communist chicks.
Yes, it was actually. I stole the idea from you and gave you credit.
Right, that was it.
That's
And
right.
then-
Okay.
And then we both did the same video at like the same time or just about around there. And then that was how you and I first actually started communicating, because you just came out of the blue and gave credit back to me on that one video. That was the biggest sort of one-day boost I ever had. I went to work and I was like, oh, I'm at like 80 subscribers or 50 or something, and then 3 hours later I was like, I'm at 117. What the hell happened? But I don't feel like I've been discovered yet or anything like that. I'm appreciative of the support and the attention people have given me so far, and but I'm at some point I'll bloom or whatever.
You'll go through YouTube puberty.
So
Yeah,
he
exactly.
said that he has no way to contact his
Yeah.
network. I'm not part of a network.
Well, what he means is the people that he talks to, because lots of people know Marty, because Marty's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I've seen his streams everywhere.
The messenger feature on Minds is shit, but you can get it to work.
Yes.
Me and Bear were talking in it the other day. He's the first person I've ever talked to in it, and I just did it to try it out. But you can get that to work.
It's a little clunky.
It's really clunky.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll get that settled or fixed soon with their big update that's supposed to be coming. You have to, he asked how, you have to, when you click on it, it'll ask you to, I think it's unlock it.
Yeah, you have to put in your password every
What?
time to just open it up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And once you get that done, if somebody else is on there, then you can message them.
Right. So every time, if I get a message, if I want to look at it, I have to put in my password, which I have a lot of passwords and it's hard to remember them all. So it's like, okay, and I got to go find my password. I got to unlock the chat thing. Even though I'm already logged into my account, I got to unlock my chat with my password. That's something they need to change. I don't understand why that's there exactly.
Oh, it says his password doesn't work. That's
Ranting monkey.
that sounds like a bug. What's that?
You okay. Hi. I sent you a message on Minds.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I just wanted to see if it would work.
Is it dirty?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She sent me a dirty message the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Did I?
Yeah. It was a typo, but I'm counting it.
Oh.
She was begging me for sex, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Monkey sex.
Yeah, she meant to say sec, and instead of C, she hit the X. Those are really close together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marty, I don't even know who you contact about a bug like that, but yeah, it should just be typing in your password that you get into Minds with.
Yeah, your login password should be your chat password.
Did that
Should.
work for you? Because on the
It
app,
did. Yep.
I didn't have to put in my password on the app.
Yeah, I don't have to right here either. I had to when I first set it up.
Maybe I already set it up or something. I don't know.
But yeah, again, mine's has some issues, but if you guys are interested in a little bit more free speech, it's not going to be completely free. It's not, don't think this is the whole Candid debacle again.
They do police pornography. I've noticed that. I mean, there was some
What did you try uploading?
yeah. No, it was what was it? It was there was a porn star who had, and this is one of those things where just random shit ended up in my stream because or my feed because people were like, boosting it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was some French porn star, and she'd posted pictures of herself just being naked, not doing sex or anything. And a message came in from one of the super mods, not the main guy, but I think his partner, that said this is not allowed. And the picture, I mean, depending on the context, I mean, if you didn't know she was a porn star, you might almost say, well, it's just sort of an artistic nude because it's just a sort of a nice photograph of a naked girl. So it's a question of like, well, if this is policed, then where's the line? And are you going to like delete the posts? Or, I mean, how are you going to moderate that kind of thing and all that? So I don't know. I mean, it's free speech with limits on it.
Yeah, it's definitely freer than Twitter right now.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't really consider, like, I think that policing pornography or not allowing nudity is pretty fair, to be honest.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't fair. It's just that nothing prevented it, and nothing was. I don't remember when I signed up for it that said thou shalt not do this, that, the other thing. I mean, maybe it's just a matter of.
Yeah, it's probably just them working out all the terms of service.
Yeah.
I don't know. I won't be,
either.
because it's still in its beta phase, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be in a perpetual beta phase for quite a while. So.
Yeah. Well, when it actually launches, I'll get judgy.
Yeah, I mean, I got it on the ground floor, so to speak, when it was still working out a lot of kinks and stuff. So
right.
I don't use it much for actual communication. I just like cross post videos there and occasionally post in a couple of groups that I'm a member of. But it's a work. Like I said, it'll take time.
That's another thing you can do over there. If you get into certain groups, like there's an anti-SJW group, you can put your video in there.
Yes,
and it'll get exposure to people who are in that same mindset. Before we get too far away from this, I do have to fuck with you about saying not doing sex. It's not having sex.
Not doing the sex.
Oh,
doing sex. You sounded like a really old man there.
I know. I had something to drink earlier.
It's okay.
So I'm tipsy.
When we were, when I think it was Monkey Mara and Amanda Wolfchild, and I said I've never done weed.
Yeah.
And people got very upset with me.
Oh, geez. Like you injected it or something?
Oh. Somebody apparently my comment about teal deer is causing some issues in the chat. Here's why teal deer is an ass. It was one of his most recent videos where he's talking about how all of us who do this kind of content do the same thing. We're basically carbon copies of each other. All of the arguments are exactly the same. And then not a minute later, the little fucker says he doesn't even watch.
Right.
It's fine to criticize things you do watch, but don't tell me everything. Don't give me your opinion on shit you know nothing about.
Yeah, and my opinion on it was like, okay, if saying a counter argument to a bad idea once was all you needed, then religion would have died millennia ago.
Right.
It's not. I mean, if there's going to be a marketplace of ideas, you got to keep spewing them out. And yes, sometimes the arguments are going to be the same because the ridiculous claims have a very simple response to them, the wage gap, et cetera, et cetera. So if a lot of people are saying the same thing, well, good. I don't want that to stop because then it just gets pushed down in the most recent posted stuff and you never hear from it again. If you stop talking, if you stop talking, the debate ends, and then the people who just are the loudest take over. So,
yeah, and sorry about that, chat. If you guys do have questions, feel free to ask them. But we tend to forget it's there.
Oh, by the way, I got to plug. I started a group on Minds. I'm the only member at present. I've tried updating it occasionally, but I started the first and thus, as far as I know, the only Punisher group on Minds.com. Punisher fan group. So if you're a fan of the Punisher and you're on Minds, I've got a group. Plug. That's all.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm actually reading chat here.
Punisher echo chamber. Exactly. There's only one opinion of the Punisher now.
Joyce, I'm not sure I understand your comment there. Who are we talking about?
He was trolling. Oh, maybe trolled Tim. You mean Teal Deer?
The best way to get exposure, in my opinion, it's leaving intelligent comments on bigger YouTubers' channels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And make videos.
Make videos.
Make videos
because
about
what I've
controversial
found
YouTubers.
too, though, is when I get shilled out by bigger YouTubers and stuff like that, it's really great for sub count. It doesn't change the viewership on your channel, though, that much, unless it's like a huge couple of thousand subscriber boost. So just like make good content, put yourself out there. Don't be annoying.
No, don't be please don't beg people to watch your stuff.
Right.
Oh, apparently he was talking about Tim. Are we talking about my comment on his last video? If his last video was about Irate Bear, and
was it really?
Yeah, it was about the Pop and Ollie thing.
Oh no! What the fucking stupid shit did Tim say?
I didn't even watch the video.
Oh really?
Because
now you're Teal Deer.
No, I'm not. I responded to the description of the video, because in the video he says it's hypocritical because Undoomed sends people to attack and Pop and Ollie sent people to attack. So it's basically the same thing, and I'm paraphrasing here. Undoomed has never told his audience to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Pop and Ollie actually told people to go harass Bear and flag his shit. And I merely pointed out that it was fucking retarded what he wrote in the description. And all of his fans lost their minds because I didn't watch the video. I'm like, I don't need to watch the video to comment on the goddamn description. I read the description.
I was so mad about the Pop and Ollie thing.
Oh, it was such shit.
I was mad, and I was mad that Irate Bear got upset about it because I was like, "This is so stupid. Like, stop. It's okay."
Yeah. He felt really attacked there, and I've never been in that situation. I haven't been there yet.
I don't blame him for feeling attacked. I just was, I felt bad. Because I really didn't think he did anything wrong. I mean, Ollie is a fucking faggot wearing cat ears.
Yeah.
Like, he's barely a he.
In one of Irate Bear's latest streams, he mentioned he didn't know Ollie was gay. And I'm like, how the fuck did you not know that?
What? How do you not know that?
It could be a character. It could be an act.
But it would be a gay act. That would still be
a gay act. Yeah.
That he is so gay. That if you looked up gay in the dictionary, it would be his little picture there with the fucking cat ears on.
Is he like Riley J. Dennis levels of gay?
Yeah. Why did Devin Tracy get banned? Does anybody know?
No.
No. Well, supposedly it has to do with community guidelines.
Yeah.
My stance on that has been, I have reacted quickly the last couple of times this has happened, and I've been wrong. So I'm going to wait until I know that harmful opinions.
Yeah, I got zapped for community guidelines on one video a couple weeks ago, or a week ago now, and they didn't tell me what about the video was bad, and I knew that a bot had grabbed it because it got zapped within 3 minutes of me posting it. So it was something about my tags or something. It wasn't a copyright strike. It was community guidelines. I heard a rumor that since my video had tangentially to do with the movie Get Out, and that was somehow like specially flagged right now because there's a bunch of hate against that movie because, well, God forbid it's a movie about making white people the villain because of their race.
Oh,
or something.
right.
And so now I don't know what happened to Devin Tracy. The only tweet I saw from him just saying that, like me, he got a community guidelines violation. They didn't explain what it was. And honestly, for as controversial and as acidic as he has been, I'm surprised it took this long.
True, yeah.
Someone said that harmful opinions got deleted.
Harmful Opinions was a special case. He actually got hacked. He just explained this in a video. I think it came out today. His accounts got hacked and somebody went through and just deleted all of his shit. He got his channel back, but not his original channel. They gave him his channel with the Harmful Opinions address, but the old channel is still there with his videos, and all of his followers are still on that channel, and they haven't moved it over. So he didn't necessarily get banned the way that Devin Tracy did. He got hacked.
Right.
So yeah, his was fucked up. Why is Base Mama calling me gay? What did I do?
Something gay,
I don't
clearly.
know.
Apparently.
I mean, if she's calling you gay, you must be gay.
You know what? I'm a little offended at her. I was so mad today because I saw her video about Marty, and if you saw it, Base Mama has assets that I don't. And
yeah, she does.
And if you see her newest video, they are right there for you. And I just thought, if I was her, every thumbnail of mine would feature that picture. And if I did that, it would gross people out and I'd have no followers left. Damn vag privilege.
See, that's what people say about me too, though. That I should make all my thumbnails like that.
Well, if you want to grow real fast. See, this is one of those differences between...
If you want to grow real fast.
Great. Now Scribe's 12. He was 80 a few minutes ago.
Angolio.
If I have such a good gaydar... No, I can tell the dude's gay. How can you not know Ollie's gay? Seriously.
He's wearing cat ears and he's talking to a balloon.
Exactly. Anyway, the whole boob thing. I know so many women. I talked about this in one of my videos, and the responses were women don't want to get known for this. And I'm like, if I was a woman, I would use everything I could to get ahead. And like Nicole Arbor, she's a fucking ditz who puts her boobs out there all the time.
Yep.
But she also has a huge following. And to me, I'm more about, I'd rather be successful than, well, you're right, I am a whore. Damn.
Well, because we've actually talked about this specifically, like in relation to me.
Was it you and me talking about it?
Yeah, I think it was you, me, and Gutenberg.
So okay, yeah.
What's the male equivalent?
There is no male equivalent.
There is no male equivalent.
There is no male equivalent.
You.
The only male equivalent
you never will.
Audience. Because the only people who respond to that are guys. So you would need a gay audience for men to be able to do anything like that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about like in a sexual sense. I'm just talking about what's the male draw. I assume it has to be personality and humor, because it's not obviously going to be breasts or some other kind of sexual aspect of it, unless you just happen to be like a GQ model. So is it just on YouTube like everywhere else? Women can get away with looking pretty while guys have to actually have a personality?
Yeah.
I
Basically.
would honestly disagree with that a little bit.
Okay.
More or less because I feel like if you rely on sexuality too much, like you're not going to respect whatever female you're following.
Well, Phil DeFranco got big by using tits in all of his thumbnails. That's what he used to do, and that's where he built the majority of his early audience. So you can use your sexuality without your videos being about that.
Well, you can use sexuality, not your sexuality necessarily.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
you don't want to use them, if you want to send me pictures of your boobs that I can put in my thumbnails, that would work too. Covered, of course. I'm not asking for nipple pics here.
YouTube would zap you real quick for those. Scribe, if you have a 15-inch dick and put it on YouTube, I say that may get a few views. Yeah, the few being one by the bot that then terminates my channel.
Free Scribe. What'd he do? Posted his dick.
Exactly. Please free my dick.
Okay. What was our topic here?
You were talking about Twitter and Minds, and I think we've run the gamut on
We've
that one.
descended into boobs.
Yeah, descended. Oh man,
Descended. That's a word only a woman would use about boobs.
I'd love to descend into some boobs right now.
Man, you are getting a lot of messages here today, Scribe.
I think it's probably has something to do with the subject matter of our last stream, where I got all
Could be.
50 Shades of Grey, anti 50 Shades of Grey, but more detailed on other things.
Dude,
What?
I'm finally getting off of my pain medicine.
You're getting
Switching.
off what? Oh, I'm a third grader. What do you want?
I've been taking a pain reliever that has, an opiate in it, and I'm getting off of that. My memory is such shit right now. When you said our last stream, I'm like, what the fuck was our last stream?
Our last stream was it was all over the place, taking questions from people, but also dealing in our personal lives, specifically your love life, my love life, and then getting it, at least in one portion of it, was my sort of dressing down, no pun intended, 50 Shades of Grey for being a ridiculously awful reflection of the BDSM community.
Yeah, in his spare time.
The word community.
In his spare time, Scribe is a dom. So
yes, yes, I suppose that's one way to put it.
But 50 Shades of Grey sucked. But I still maintain it is one of the funniest books ever written.
Yes, it is. Oh my God. It's one of those, like, erotica has several different styles, and 50 Shades of Grey is one of those styles where it's like, everything's hidden and you don't know what they're actually talking about.
I appreciate it for the fact that it runs completely counter to so much of the feminist rhetoric that has been pumped out. I mean, setting aside its complete lack of quality and its portrayal of things in a completely psychotic way, the fact that its subject matter, its general theme, is so taboo as compared to what we're all told should be appropriate, and that it's the best-selling book next to the Bible at this point. I think that's hilarious. But again, if you want a good BDSM book, go find Anne Rice's Sleeping Beauty series, especially the first book. That's decent. And by decent, I mean completely dirty and erotic, but you know what I mean.
I just wish in the movie they would have done the tampon scene. Because I think that would have made it great.
I don't know what that is, thankfully.
She's in the bathroom and she stands with her legs apart, and he apparently very seductively rips out her tampon.
He uncorks her?
He does.
It's true.
Hi,
That's
Alex, right?
Gross.
It is. And I actually got into an argument with people on Facebook over this because they're like, what's wrong with that? I'm like, that's not sexy at all.
Well, I don't know if you're that guy that Barring's done a couple of videos on who likes.
Okay, so one guy, Andy the weirdo, would like that.
One guy.
Andy the weirdo. I kept her pad for months.
William, yes, Anne Rice wrote vampire books, but she also wrote a series called the Sleeping Beauty trilogy under a pseudonym. That's all just BDSM stuff. I mean, she also did Exit to Eden, which was turned into a really weird movie with Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell, but. She had a thing for that lifestyle as well for a while.
Real quick, Scribe, what's your channel name? Is it Scribe_Light?
It's Scribe space Light.
There you go. Somebody in chat asked, and I didn't link channels this time. I'll do it after it's all done. I forgot to.
Yeah.
Usually I have yours in there. But if you're gonna look for them, it's Scribe space Light.
Mm-hmm. I am not affiliated with the company that makes pens with flashlights on them.
Sleeping Beauty did not consent. Yes, she did. She wanted it. That's how she was dressed.
No, in the main device that Anne Rice uses in her books regarding Sleeping Beauty and the old fairy tale is that the prince kissing her to wake her from her slumber was a euphemism for basically fucking her while she was asleep. So
it was a kiss.
Yeah, it was a kind of kiss, kissing his dick to her pussy.
No, that's I've seen the Disney version. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're correct. The Disney version does not, in fact, show any kind of sleep rape. But yes, technically, he woke her up by fucking her in the Anne Rice version.
Sweet. Then yeah, that would be rape.
Yeah, that would be.
That's
Unless he's hot.
There's
Okay,
there's a lot of questionable things in that book, but then that's the whole point. So
you just said something that it is such a point with sexual harassment and stuff. If
Unless
he's hot,
Yeah.
guys
right.
get away with
Well,
This is-
no, it's not like necessarily it just because he's hot, because like
bullshit.
well, I'm about to explain it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
Like it's because in order for something to be creepy, like I have to not want it.
Hold on a second.
And so if
If-
I don't want it, then like fuck off.
Hold on. If Johnny Depp rolled up next to you in a Ferrari and started flirting with you, are you telling me that you would react the same way to some schlub rolling up to you in a Datsun?
No, I'm telling you exactly that because the schlub should know I don't want it. That's sexual.
So Johnny Depp has a
Like-
pass because he knows that he's hot.
Right. Like you have a mirror, use it. You should know.
Oh, that's depressing.
I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, I'm falling back on my bullshit answer.
Yeah, pretty much.
How much can a guy get away with just because he's attractive to you?
Like only to a certain extent, to be honest with you. Like even attractive guys can get creepy pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think attractiveness with guys, it gets your, for lack of a better phrase, your foot in the door.
Yeah,
But
it
if
gets
don't-
you. It gets you to the hey, and then we're like hey, and then you could be like, I want to eat your hair, and we'd be like, yeah, maybe not.
I want to eat your hair. I think I saw that episode of My Strange Addiction.
I mean, so it's not like Brad Pitt could get away with anything, but he can definitely say hi.
Yeah.
If you're obese and you have a neck beard, maybe not. Maybe don't say hi.
First Cynic says, how about rich guys? Well, it depends on how you broadcast that. Because if you, I know rich guys that dress like Shlomo. So it's like, who cares? But I mean, if you're showing off, that's another thing too. And now maybe SDA can correct me, but if someone is showing off too much, even if they are good looking, is that a warning sign that something else is wrong, or is that still part of the attraction?
I'm sorry, what?
Like showing off, like if I'm really working hard to show off how rich I am or something, like I'm all like in a really fancy car or some suit or something, like I'm trying to compensate for something, even if I am good looking.
I guess it depends on the setting. Like if you're in Walmart like that, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well,
but I mean, if we're at like a country club, I'm not going to be like, yeah.
Well, if you see somebody super rich at a Walmart, that means they're fiscally conservative.
Yeah, it's not a good enough excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. There's like, look, I'm not going to say there's not a double standard. We totally have a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
But
Based
I
on,
mean,
on looks, though, that's so horrible. If guys did that, we do that. We get in trouble for it. We're not allowed to not like, fat chicks. I'm still getting shit about that fucking Whitney Waythor thing.
didn't you? Yeah. But like, okay, but like, if Whitney Waythor were to come up to you and be like, "Hey, what's up?" You'd probably be like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret about guys, and they're
don't do
going
it.
to lie
No,
here.
Dude, don't do it. You're not supposed to say this stuff. This is the secret. No, we talked about this at the last meeting.
Whitney Waythor, as huge as she is, which apparently she's a lesbian now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, God, no.
Yeah, dive into that.
Yeah, because a cock can't fit inside there.
Yeah. Guys in the right setting will fuck anyone. Don't even. Because this is something that Robin Williams talked about. He made a joke. God gave us a brain and a dick and only enough blood to function one at a time.
Well, at the risk of tooting my own horn, no pun intended, I have resisted the opportunity for sex with hot women because I knew that doing so would lead to far more problems with crazy later. My rationality beat out my, no pun intended, my libido, and I resisted the temptation. And I've done this a couple of times, and I'm quite glad that I did. So, and even
No, there's an old joke,
okay,
and it is absolutely true. It's what do a fat girl and a moped have in common? And it's both are fun to ride until your friends see you doing it. Guys in the right setting will bang anything. Now, see, you had a reason there not to. You'd be like, oh, I don't want to fuck this because it's going to cause me problems later.
True.
But if everything, if say I'm moving across the country tomorrow, you might have still done it, even though she was crazy.
But like, let's say like Whitney Waythor comes up to you and like wants to date you. You're not gonna
date? No. See, dating's not an option.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, because girls, when like we start talking to a guy, we're like, all right, how can I catch you and bring you home? Like forever. Like that's what we do. We just do that.
Now, well, like I say, and people are calling bullshit on me and everything else. Well, all I can tell you is, I mean, take my word for it or not, both in the instances of knowing ahead of time that I was going to be getting into trouble or starting something that I didn't want to be involved in it by doing so. And again, you're going to call bullshit, but it's absolutely true. I was at a dry spell, let's say, and there was a girl decidedly outside my weight class who was totally into me, but she wasn't attractive to me. I mean, she was fine if she was like, 60 pounds lighter, maybe, but I mean, it just, there was no chemistry. Visually, she didn't do anything for me. And so even though I had every opportunity to do so, I didn't, because I didn't. So and like I said, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's not, monkey might be true 90% of the time for myself. I'm very selective. What can I tell you?
I mean, but Bay can back me up on this. I guess like girls do that because even if we're just gonna like do it once, we're still thinking ahead.
Yeah, you guys plan and think way too much.
Yeah, we do. That's why we're like, no, we can't, because it's like, well, then like my girlfriends are gonna see us together. I'm like, we can't have that. And like what if people find out? Like, so.
Now, I have turned down sex. Apparently, you're very attractive, Scribe, to Mama, because you turned it down. One, women will chase you harder if you tell them no to sex. That is true. They will eventually give up. But I've turned down sex. What I'm saying is the circumstance has to be exactly right. Just because somebody walked up and offered it, you're not going to bang everything. Well, some guys will, but there's, how do I want to put this? Even somebody who looks like Whitney Waythor can get fucked every day if she wanted to.
No, I'm sure she could.
Because she has a vagina.
But it won't be much fun for her because she'll just be feeling like, make her feel like shit.
Well, she should. Have you seen her? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
Be the best exercise she got.
I don't even know how you find it.
You got to lift the folds and slap it a little bit.
Yeah,
roller and flour. Look for the wet spot.
Ugh. Gross.
It's paper mache.
That's disgusting.
I am curious to see her becoming a lesbian. Thank you so much, Russell. When Scribe has an erection, he gets lightheaded. 3 pints of blood. Can't even finish reading it. That's why he doesn't send dick pics. There's no lens big enough?
That was the original joke, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Are we fucking, or is this a wave pool? Oh, that's horrible.
Oh my God. I just realized what that meant. I'm upset.
Oh my God. We've gone a dark place here. I blame SDA. We've never gone this dark.
We got a little.
Yeah, this is definitely my fault.
We talked about some darkish stuff in our last stream a little bit. Of course, it was mostly deal with my love life, but that's fine.
Okay, question time, guys. If you have any, throw them out there. We'll try to pay attention to chat there. We made SDA sad. Well, yeah, that.
How dare you, whoever did that? Who did that? Oh, yeah, right.
You can cheer her up by giving Monkey money.
Or you can go give me money.
No. You're on Monkey's stream, so Monkey gets money.
We really do need to start spreading around the love with the streams.
Yeah, because Monkey gets off.
According to one of my commenters, my banana is 4.5 inches.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, because you don't know what it's like to have PCOS.
Yes. I fucking love that comment. That was great.
Like, you don't know what it's like. It's like, yeah, neither. I mean, I'm guessing neither do you. If you think that it means you have to be fat forever, you could just tape your mouth shut and stop eating.
Mama asks, how do I manage to avoid getting a strike from TED Talks? I assume because Bering, he had that fight with Ted about open conversations and he won, or I'm just so small that it doesn't click on anybody's radar yet or something. I don't know.
How I avoid copyright strikes, because I've had this happen a couple times. When I'm like taking network produced stuff, is I'll just like go into my thing and I'll speed it up to 110% and click the thing that's like what's it like, it's like preserve the pitch so you can't tell, but it's not an audio or video match.
What do you use to edit?
iMovie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can just speed it up so slightly that you wouldn't notice, and you can, make the pitch the same, but that way the audio and video doesn't match, and I haven't had problems with it since I started doing that.
I have used the Whitney Waythor was one, and all I did was make the video smaller. Didn't get any dings for it.
Yeah. There's ways around it, because a lot of those are going to be automatic flagging.
Yeah.
So as long as you go through and just edit something so that it can't match it, you're all good. I would suggest doing that to for like BuzzFeed videos too, or like, that kind of stuff, because they'll snag you as well.
Do any of you guys watch the mukbang videos? Mukbang, sorry.
What?
Never heard of it.
Oh, if you want to see some really weird shit, go watch it. I can't take much of it because I can't stand hearing people eat. That's what people do. They make videos of themselves eating. And
Ew, why?
People apparently love this shit. They'll eat and talk while they're eating.
Now, if you want weird stuff, you look up Rob Dyke or Rainbot. Those guys do actual like mysteries of the internet and like serial killers and that kind of stuff. But people eating, yeah. Well, don't send anything like that to Irate Bear, because his biggest pet peeve is people eating or talking with their mouthfuls.
Someone asked if we like Marvel or DC. I know you guys already answered this, but obviously Marvel. What are you talking about?
Marvel over DC, yeah.
Don't be fucking retarded.
Favorite superhero? My favorite superhero, my top forever is Punisher. But as far as like best superhero origin and most interesting, I always thought Doctor Strange had the best origin.
Captain America, he's hot.
Spider-Man for me, with the caveat that Batman is like real close.
Keeping my mouth shut because I'm on your stream.
No, don't. Let it out.
I fucking hate Batman. He's so dumb.
How can you hate Batman?
Because he does the like, I'm Batman. Stop it.
You don't like how he introduces himself?
Yeah, it's like, just say it like a fucking normal person.
How should he say it?
Hi,
I'm Batman.
Hi, I'm Batman.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that would strike fear into the hearts of the criminal element. Hi guys, I'm Batman.
With a little balloon there that he's talking to.
I mean,
yeah, he's got bat ears and a balloon. Yeah, I call Robin.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like it's dumb. And honestly, I've tried to watch like the Dark Knight videos, and I just fell asleep. Boring.
Now, the first one is kind of boring. The second one is awesome.
Yeah, the second movie is amazing. Actually, if you want to see the best Batman, watch the animated series. That tops everything.
Although I thought that Ben Affleck's Batman was the only bearable part of Batman versus Superman.
I see. I hate that Batman has been made so broody in all of his movies.
Well, that's why I don't like him, because he's all like, I'm Batman and I'm upset all the time.
In the movies, I will give you that. And they've done the same thing with Peter Parker.
Or something. Fuck.
Yeah. he doesn't enjoy his money at all in the movies, which actually the best Bruce Wayne in a movie was Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Because Bruce Wayne is supposed to be this aloof jackass who really enjoys his money. It's to
He
throw
doesn't
people
come
off
like
because
that in the movies.
no, everybody since then has been very broody and
Yeah,
upset that they're Batman.
yeah, and that's why I don't like him. Like,
Yeah,
he's
well,
not exciting.
Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne at least had a slice of humor to his entire
Yes.
situation.
Well, that's why I don't like the recent DC movies. I didn't like Man of Steel. I haven't seen Suicide Squad, but I didn't like Batman versus Superman because it's like, you want me to be serious for 2.5 hours? Really?
Suicide Squad is the best DC movie, but that is entirely by default.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, that's not saying anything.
It wasn't as bad as a lot of them, but I didn't see the big. I think people's expectations were so low because of Batman versus Superman, which was just a shitty movie.
Martha!
That people were like, "Oh, cool! This is better than it has been."
Right.
Plus
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, come on,
Yeah.
those shorts.
We have Wonder Woman on the way. And from what I hear,
I'm not
so
excited
far-
about that.
No, I'm not excited about it, but just as an observer kind of thing, is like there's a part of me that doesn't want DC to do well because I'm a Marvel guy. At the same time,
Right.
if DC, the thing is that there's a large proportion of the audience for these kind of movies isn't loyal to one company or another. So if DC does shitty and keeps putting out shitty movies, then they fuck up the whole superhero market for movies, and that inevitably damages Marvel. So I want DC to do well, just because I want those fans to be happy. I want there to be a continuing incentive to make superhero movies, even if they're not ones that I would go watch. So Wonder Woman, I hear, is in relative terms pretty good. Now, those are, of course, intro
But
audience.
this is by DC
I don't
terms.
like. I don't
It's true.
Yeah, I don't like the actress. She's too scrawny.
Yeah,
I don't like how everything in the DC universe looks like Tim Burton did it. It's like
Yeah,
there are
it's
no
all very-
light bulbs
Christopher-
It's
anywhere
all
there.
very
Christopher Nolan did it.
right. It's all very gray and dark. And again, she's really and they in a bunch of places, like a bunch of these feminist websites were like, she bulked up for the role. I was like, she can't do that.
she's a toothpick. She can't bulk up. No,
Well, some women just can't do it, but I feel like if you're gonna have a woman be like super physical, you should have her look like she could lift something.
right. You remember? Well, if you ever saw Kick-Ass 2 with Mother Russia, like now that she looks like Red Sonja. That's a superhero I could believe. But Wonder Woman's always been very glamorous. She's never been like super bulky or anything.
But she's not usually depicted as a toothpick.
No, well, I don't know. But as far as the look of it all, Warner seemed to think, especially when they did Man of Steel, that the draw of the Batman movies that were successful was Christopher Nolan's very dark, gray, washed out sort of look. And of course, Warner also wants to try to distinguish themselves from Marvel, that is, in relative terms, far more bright and colorful and humorous. But the thing is like, you're not distinguishing yourself by not being like Marvel. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. Because look, Marvel's doing it well, and you guys are just screwing it up.
I wanted to talk about. Did you guys see the Beauty and the Beast thing where it's going to have a gay character?
Yes, Josh
What
Gad
happened?
or whatever.
The new Beauty and the Beast movie is going to have a gay character in it.
Ooh,
One
a
of the
faggot?
yeah.
Yay, I guess.
I don't see why it's necessary to
Because
have a gay
It's
character.
important to the
know.
plot. Yeah, he's got to kiss a guy. We got to show that we're all inclusive and diverse, and that gay people can exist in Disney.
I guess it's funny because I write, and my stories usually have faggy people in them, but I think that's mostly because I'm bisexual and my best friend was gay. So like in my personal experience, it's something that's always been there. But like I don't know, I don't see the need to be like, it's a gay. Like just calm down. Like, yeah, all right, what else is it?
One of the things that really annoyed me, I know J.K. Rowling has been getting a lot of shit lately, but a couple of years ago she came out and announced that Dumbledore was gay.
Right.
Which, okay, fine. That's entirely irrelevant to everything that happened in the plot or in the movie or books. Sorry, I read the books first and then the movies. Entirely irrelevant to the plot, which just emphasizes the point you don't have to make everything gay. People can be gay and go about their lives without that being the only interesting thing about
that's
them.
how most of my gay characters are, you know. And I know it's like just random, but you know, just because I write and I do write them, like I said, it's because it's, you know, it's just because like they're, you know, it's people that I actually know and people that I actually interact with, and you always pull from your own experience. But
do they come? I'm gay man.
no, of course, but that's my point. It's not like it's not gay people that that social justice warriors would like, is my point, because they're not like, I'm a fag wearing rainbow all the time.
Well,
it's like, oh, this character is back. Remember, it's gay.
Well, how
Hey.
else are they going to broadcast that on film unless they do something that is just flaming? I
Right.
mean, if somebody see, here's the thing that I don't understand. If you want to have a character that's gay, who gives a shit first and foremost? Secondly, no straight character comes out and says I'm straight. Right? No straight character that is interesting comes out and says I'm straight because their sexuality is inconsequential.
Steven Crowder did a little bit where he was like going into a job interview and he was like, it's vital that you know,
right,
I really like vagina.
Yeah.
And I only want to stick it in a vagina. And they're like, okay, sir, I don't know why that's relevant. He's like, but vaginas are great.
Yeah. Well, I remember like with Luke Skywalker, they started asking, I mean, in the last like 3 years, they started asking Mark Hamill, it's like, what's Luke's sexuality? And like, well, who gives a shit? It's not relevant to the plot. I mean, yes,
the only time it was relevant was when his sister laid a big old kiss on him.
Right. And that was just like George Lucas not having his ideas straightened out about what he wanted to have happen in the plot at that point.
But it's still one of my favorite parts of the movies because in 3, she says she always knew.
Right. Yeah. Even when I was smooching you, I knew you, my brother.
Yeah.
But, you know, with sexuality, it's like, okay, unless it's a plot point, and even then, it should be just like not even like I would, you know what, I would love to see an action movie where the quote unquote damsel is the guy's boyfriend, but it's not made a big deal of. It's just like this is the situation, and that's it.
I've done something like that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
That's because like you work it like this is the issue I think that characters suffer from. I could go on this about one-dimensional characters all day. The characters in general suffer from this. It's not just the gay people. It's absolutely every other character in all of these stories. So like even if you look at, for example, Katniss, right? In the Hunger Games, she can't decide if she's a lovable human being or a fucking bitch. And she's just a doormat. The plot happens to her. She's a boring fucking one-dimensional character who can't decide what she wants to be.
I am so tired of hearing her called a heroine. She was not. Everything happened to her.
Yeah. Yep. And then Rey,
Mary Sue.
It's not like it's that, but then it's also that she has a personality problem.
Well, she has no personality. She's a plank of wood. There's nothing there.
Right. Which is why she's not fun. And the thing that I think is interesting is that secondary characters are usually the ones that we remember most. I mean, nobody's favorite part about the first original trilogy is fucking Luke Skywalker. Everybody's favorite part is Han Solo.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite part of The Force Awakens was Finn and Harrison Ford, because for whatever reason, people seem really terrified to have their MCs be fun.
Yeah, I don't understand why they keep making, I mean, why they thought it was a good idea to have her have no flaws, no weaknesses, I mean, like Han Solo, there's a scene in the Death Star where he's running away from the stormtroopers screaming, and it's hilarious, but it's also very human. You know, he's sardonic.
Well, that's the thing. Like when you're writing, and honestly, as a writer, it's so much more fun to like put your characters in a situation and be like, okay, as a human being,
and
what would I do? Because it's relatable. Like, I can't tell you how many times I watch a movie and I'm like, I don't care if the main character dies because they're kind of a plank.
Well, at least Luke was naive to the point where it's like, okay, you could believe that this is just some dumb farm hick kid. And that in itself was a little bit endearing because it's like, okay, well, he's not perfect. And we don't see him go like all full Jedi lightsaber in the movie. So, except for the fact that he bullseyed the Death Star out of not being, coming off of a desert planet and suddenly he can fly his spaceships and stuff. Outside of that, I liked Luke, at least as far as his role in that movie. In Force Awakens, everything that she comes up against, she solves immediately. She flies the Millennium Falcon. She uses the Force. She uses the lightsaber. There's never a sense that she's in any danger. This is the same problem I had with all the characters in Rogue One. They were all superheroes. They were all one-man killing machines, and there was no sense of danger. There's no sense of camaraderie between them in that movie.
Well, they all die anyway, so.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I mean,
spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers. They all die.
But he dies in Rogue One.
Now, I'm trying to be optimistic, for at least as far as Rey is concerned, in some of the aspects. Like, okay, if she's sort of like a Revan character, where she has had her memory erased of all the stuff that she knew, she's actually a Solo, or she's actually a Skywalker or something, and so how she was able to fly the Millennium Falcon because she saw it done a dozen times before she was dropped off on Jakku or whatever. Maybe. I mean, that'll be a Deus Ex Machina bullshit, but at least it would be an explanation.
I am like adoring how many different ways people have spelt Ray in the chat.
Oh,
that's making me happy.
Ray, R-E-I.
Yeah, right. And the other thing, I guess, is that a lot of the times you won't see people have any kind of character development. So
right.
You can have a situation where the plot happens to a character and then they subsequently have to grow from that. And then like they start, there's like all sorts of ways you can do it. But I don't think it's just a gay people problem.
No.
Back to what we were talking about. I think it's an overarching fiction problem.
Well, here's the point. My biggest issue with the whole Dumbledore being gay thing, except in the instances where bisexuality actually is an issue. Ron's parents, of course, they're going to be heterosexual. Ron and Hermione hooking up, of course, they're heterosexual. You can imagine everybody else in that character gay, or in that story gay, if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it makes no difference to the plot.
Yeah, I loved all that. I loved all that stuff where they were, as soon as The Force Awakens was starting to come out, a bunch of social justice types were like saying, J.J. Abrams, are there going to be any gay characters in Star Wars? And like, did you see the pod race scene? This is my thought. Did you see the pod race scene? You see that crowd there? I bet you there was a gay in there. I bet there's several. I bet there was a bunch of androgynous aliens and stuff. Who gives a shit if it's not relevant to the plot? And even
all 87 genders were in that audience.
Yeah, and even if it is, it's like don't. If you make
so
a character,
I would say, sorry, go ahead.
That's all right.
Just like from a creating a character perspective, if they're going to be a main character, I've sent Mara the character sheet that I use to actually do it, my character profile sheet, and there's something like 200 different fields to fill out. A character's sexual history is important. It's not necessarily given to you as like the reader, but like it. So I wouldn't say that it's entirely it's not like it's entirely meaningless to the plot, but perhaps, but it's not necessarily meaningless to their personality, if that makes sense.
And no, I see where you're coming from, and I understand that, but it's very much like their childhood. Unless it becomes a point that needs to be brought up in the story, it's like I said, you can literally imagine 99% of the characters that show up in Harry Potter as gay, and it doesn't change the story at all.
No, you're right. I'm just saying, like the main characters, the author's gonna know if they're gay or not, because like, I mean, unless you didn't spend your time with your characters, then you suck. But
And for the record, Scribe, I warned her about us and told her to interrupt us if she needs to speak because of how we are. Oh, come on. It's true.
Yeah, Bay said that the character profile, it is intense. It's so many things. Because like it's difficult to build a person from scratch, but it doesn't necessarily it's kind of like if you're writing a character just to be a gay, or if you're writing a character just to be black, or you're writing a character just to be whatever, then it doesn't matter. I mean, I've written Cox characters of color. Anyway. And I mean, like, to me, it doesn't matter that much. I think I have like a Native American character who has, like, I know it's not mentioned in the book, but he has a poker set as a family heirloom because I thought it was funny. But I don't know. It's just like none of it really matters, I guess.
Well, we're getting to a place where that becomes this is a giant story going on the internet now because there's a gay character in Beauty and the Beast.
But it's pandering. That's
It
all
is,
it is. I mean, but
yes.
the fact that they have to underline that, the fact that they say, "Look, we have a gay character," it's absolute pandering. It means nothing. It's actually to me. I mean, I'm not gay, but I would think that it would be more insulting to see something that was just so blatantly. This is the main attraction of this character. Is that he
No,
likes
it's
fucking
definitely it's insulting as hell.
Yeah, it reminds me of Morgan Freeman talking about Black History Month.
Right.
You don't need to point that out. It's irrelevant unless it is relevant. Like, have you guys played Mass Effect 3?
No.
There's a gay character in Mass Effect 3, and it's not blatant. The way you know he's gay is because he misses his partner and you see a picture of a guy.
Right.
They don't play it up that, he's not dressed like somebody from a gay pride parade. He's just one of the crew who happens to be missing the person he loves.
Part of your life. Like, as a, like, if you're gay, it's not like, this is part of the problem, because part of the reason why people still think it's kind of a big deal to be gay is because some of the gays make it a big deal to be gays. Whereas, and I just know so many fucking gay people. Like, once you know them, once you know one, like, you know them all. It's nuts.
They know, all the gays know each other.
They really do. Like, I don't know why they keep saying we don't know each other. Yes, you do. You all have Grindr. You all know each other. Anyway, I'm sorry. But, like, they're not constantly like, I'm gay. Like, they have jobs. They have lives. They're human beings. Whole human beings.
Well, I told a story in one of my recent videos, and it's a true story. There was a guy I worked with. He had 3 young children. He married, never would have known he was gay at all. One day he's gay, and he quit working with me, and I saw him about 6 months later, and he's not only gay, he is fucking hella gay. He was wearing a fucking fishnet shirt. He had somehow developed a lisp. He's wearing gold chains. He looked like he looked gayer than Ollie. And I couldn't understand. I don't understand why this happens in the gay culture community, that so many, they're not just gay, they come out as hella gay, super gay. There are gay people who you would not know they were gay unless they told you. Right. They go about their lives. Gay is just something that they are. It's not everything that they are.
Did you ever see the this was years and years ago, but there was a I think PBS put it out or something. It was a movie version or a TV movie version of the book series Tales of the City. And it took place in San Francisco in like the 1960s or early 70s. And there were 2 gay characters in that, like you say, they look like quote unquote normal people. I mean, there's nothing that says I am gay about them, but but it's still sort of a taboo subject in the course of the story. They go to this party where gay guys are, and everybody else there is like, they've got pancake makeup on and the red circles on their cheeks, and they're acting all floofy, and they're
you were going to say faggoty.
No, I wasn't, but
you should have.
They were sitting on the couch and they looked completely uncomfortable, like, what are we doing here? Who are these people? And I was watching this with my mother. I was like 12 or 13 or something when it came out, and I was watching this, and I hadn't had any sort of personal exposure to the gay community or anything like that at that point in my life, but I understood what it was. But I watched that scene where you've got these people who just are people that happen to be gay, and then you got these guys who are really broadcasting, I'm gay. And I turn to my mother and I say, I think they're gay because they're bored. And she started laughing her ass off, and I was like, and I was serious. I was looking at it. I was just like trying to figure out this disparity between these sets of characters. Like, one set I completely understood, and we'd watch them sort of progress, and this other group that were and they're all supposedly in the story gay. I was just like, the only thing that makes sense to me is that they really, really, really need to differentiate themselves from whatever they think they.
Well, why do you think emo kids exist? It's the same thing.
Because My Chemical Romance is popular.
Well, also because they like to differentiate themselves. Someone asked me if I was a fag hag. No, I'm bisexual, so technically I can't be one. You have to be a straight girl. Secondly, my best friend was gay, and like I said, if you know one of them, it's just a black hole of gay.
My wife got really offended when I called her a fag hag once, because my wife is she finds gay, she has gaydar, and she will latch onto a gay person.
Like I didn't find a bunch of them. I found one, and he just like I said, it's a black hole of gay. Like nobody can escape it. So
the black hole of gay.
Yeah,
There's another T-shirt idea, guys.
Is that Milo's boyfriend?
Nice. I think from the way Milo described it, though, he's the black hole.
Probably.
He makes it sound like he's the bottom in that. Damn it, I lost a thought. I hate when that happens.
Your wife was a fag hag?
No, it was before that. The fag hags what took the thought away.
Oh.
Oh, well. It'll come back if it's important.
I want to know about the fag hag because you didn't finish that.
Oh, no. Yeah, she got really offended at me calling her that. And it was a guy she worked with, and she went to work, and she told him, because she was so offended about it, he goes, no, you're a fag hag. It's okay. That's what we call you. And so then it was okay. My wife is very sheltered, and she has been her whole life. Not because of me. It's not like I keep her chained up or anything, but she's very naive about things. So it's been fun our whole life. This is a story nobody tell my wife I told this story.
Okay.
Way back in high school, I convinced her that she could suck the cheese out of a cheese hot dog.
Oh yeah, she told me that story in bed. Oh wait.
Oh, nice. Fuck you. But she spent like 15 minutes trying to suck the cheese out of a cheese hot dog. And another time I convinced her that she could give me a hickey on my dick. So she spent like 20 minutes trying.
See, I wouldn't do the dick hickey thing, but the first thing, that is something I would do.
I've had a dick
I'm one
hickey
of those
before.
people that, like, if you tell me something, I don't know, maybe there's just so much other stuff going on in my head that I don't even think about it. But I'm just like, okay, somebody told me that British people don't swim. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, because it's cold. And I went with it, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like Googling to see if they had a like an Olympic swim team, and I was like, do British people swim? And Google couldn't tell me. I was like distraught for days.
Well, there was a Jamaican bobsled team.
Like, I'm really fucking stupid sometimes.
You know that bears lay eggs?
What?
That I know they don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're trying to fuck with her. I thought you had lost your mind.
No, I wouldn't try to fuck with her. She's like bisexual. I don't want to have to compete.
Nice. That's right, guys. Scribe single, ladies. Just so you know.
I'm not single, ladies. Never mind.
It's okay. I don't date women.
Like
Oh, you just
so you don't date women? You just...
What? Okay, here's the thing. Lesbians and like selected SJW pansexuals are like, how come bi women don't date women? Because we don't have to. Duh. Like, if we have a choice not to, why would we? Lesbians are crazy.
Women in general are crazy, and I mean that in a very nice way.
Date a woman? Are you nuts? I'm nuts. I can't, like, there's only room here for one of us. Like,
Dean the Champ. So you're saying there's a chance?
So, you've had a girlfriend though before, right?
yeah.
Okay.
We talked about this though. She was
Right.
fucking crazy. Like I said, I'd still have sex with a girl, but I wouldn't. No.
Now, do you scissor?
No, that doesn't work. That is.
I've seen it in movies.
Yeah, I've actually tried it. Like one time, we were just like, "You want to try it to see if it doesn't work?"
That had to be the best conversation ever.
What?
Deciding to try scissoring.
Yeah, because we were just bored, and we were like, because we were watching South Park, and it was like the episode where Mr. Garrison or Miss whatever is scissoring a bunch
Okay,
of
you should
people.
not take your sexual advice from South Park.
Well, and because like we knew about it like prior, and we were like fuck it, let's try.
Maybe we can get our clits to touch. Maybe it'll work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I'm sorry, I'm dying over here. Oh my god. That is just the best thing ever. Oh my god.
Mommy, Kitty's being a dildo. I know a kitty that's sleeping with mommy tonight.
Oh, it's such a great line. My granddaughter actually loves South Park.
Oh no.
How old
When
is
she was
she?
She's 2 now. We can't watch it anymore. When she was really little, I was watching it one day when she's sleeping on my shoulder, and she woke up and just went right back to sleep. And the next time it was on, or next time I had her, I put it back on and she went right to sleep with it. And then she'd start dancing to it when she started walking. I'm like, fuck, this is only going to last until she starts talking. But I love South Park. One of the ways I can calm her down is bring up the theme song on my phone.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I'm not old. I'm only 41. Okay, I'm a little old.
Bay's Spawn really likes Bering's voice.
Oh, my granddaughter also loves she knows who the ranting monkey is, and she loves seeing him. So I have to make her a video where I'm not swearing.
And I think Bay said that her daughter likes listening to Bering's music, which is adorable.
I rate Bear's son really, really likes Keemstar.
Hey, Monkey, you need to start like a Ranting Monkey Kids channel. You do the same script, but you take out all the swearing and you sort of dumb down the language a little bit.
Oh, that would be such a bad idea. What
Riley
happens when they find the good one?
Stupid. Okay, bye.
What now?
Riley Dennis stupid. Like what else? What else could you say?
My videos aren't as bad as when I listen to them. They're not as bad as I think they are when I'm making them, because I end up taking out all of the worst parts because I'm a horrible person.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, you said in our other stream, which you might not remember, you said you like in order to play with your grandchildren and that kind of thing, that you'd play with toys or games or watch TV shows that you wouldn't otherwise. Okay, so rant about that stuff.
Rant about Legos.
Yeah.
Why can't they be the right color when I need them to be?
There you go. There's a whole video. Some kid will watch it for 5 seconds, and that's their attention span, and you'll get like 20,000 views.
Well, fucking toy videos are really popular. That's so stupid.
I get a lot of comments whenever I make videos where I get really ranty and I swear or something and I'm a little bit meaner. I get a bunch of comments that are like, this is the best thing ever. And then I always get a couple that are like, how our kids have to watch you?
If you're letting your kids watch me, you're just wrong.
I was like, this is not content made for children. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to go way back. I remember back in the 90s when the whole Clinton scandal blew up. One of the big complaints you always saw was parents saying, how can my 5-year-old, how do I explain this when they're watching the news?
Yeah.
Just
like,
don't.
Why the fuck do you have your 5-year-old watching the news?
Well, I remember one time when I was younger, obviously, like I was like 2 when the Clinton thing happened, or I wasn't even 1 yet, I don't think. But when I got older, somebody talked about it. And it was like the Bill Clinton scandal. And I was like, what happened? Because I was like 10. And my dad was like, there was a scandal. And I was like, okay.
Well,
like,
seriously,
all you have to do is just not explain it. Like, I don't know why people think that children need long-winded explanations for things.
Yeah, I just did a video on Van Jones, and I replayed his clip from an election night where he's like, what we're fearing tomorrow is having to have breakfast and explain to our children how someone like Donald Trump could become president. I'm like, kids don't give a shit. And by the time it matters to them, Donald Trump will have been president ages ago. I mean, most people don't become like politically aware or give a rip about that until maybe their early teens. So if you're going to your breakfast table with your 6-year-old, he's not going to even remember Donald Trump by the time it matters.
In my sociology class, I actually like streamed it that day. But it was the day after the election, and there were a couple of people, most of them were Mexican, that were like, my daughter is very scared because Donald Trump is president. I don't know why they're Mexicans from Wisconsin, but they are. And
Wisconsinans.
yeah, and it was like, and like once one started, another one had a very smart and intelligent 4-year-old who knew about politics, and then
Right.
another 4-year-old who knows about politics, and then another one. Oh my God! And it was like,
I don't want to be left out of
contest.
the conversation. I don't want to sound like I'm a dumb parent who's not teaching their kids about politics.
Right, and it was like a contest to see like who had the smartest young child relative.
Well, parents generally do that regardless of the subject matter. My child's the best in the world, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but it was just interesting. It was like, yeah, my kid is upset too. And then they're all like, if our kids know, why don't we know? And I'm like, your kids know because you're a nutcase.
Yeah. You ever see?
Yeah, you're scaring your children.
That reminds me.
Yeah, like your children are scared. That's not something to be proud of.
As a side thing, have you ever heard of a movie documentary called Marjo?
No.
So it's really, really good. It's speaking of children being influenced by their parents. It's a kid who was raised by super duper religious parents. They named him Marjo, as in Mary and Joseph put together.
Oh.
And he was one of the youngest, like, fire and brimstone preachers. And there's videos of him like as this little curly redheaded little kid going all godly when he was like 4. And then the documentary deals with him as sort of a young adult. I think he was 19 or early 20s. And he gets this documentary group together and he says, okay, so I'm going to return to the scene to show you just how much of a bunch of bullshit this is. You guys have to play it straight and see what happens. And it is the most interesting fucking thing ever to see this guy go back and sort of shit all over his upbringing, which he knew was a bunch of hocus pocus. And but yeah, kids influenced by their parents. It's one of the more sort of celebratory ones because at least he's getting some revenge at the end of it. But yeah, you can screw a kid up real quick that way.
Well, with the election, I saw so many people, my 5-year-old said this. I'm like, you shouldn't be taking any fucking advice from a 5-year-old.
Well, the other thing was on Twitter, the day after the election, you could search my 8-year-old.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And a bunch of things would come up and it'd be like, my 8-year-old is scared. My 8-year-old doesn't get why we let hate win. It's like your 8-year-old doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
You making it up.
I got into a long argument on Facebook about this. It was some 6-year-old and they were talking about trans stuff.
Oh my God. The other thing too is that these 6-year-olds are always so eloquent. Like this is a person who can't read. Well, you should be able to read I could read
a little bit. They're not reading anything important. They're reading Dr. Seuss.
I'm like, they can sort of write. Like they've just learned how to write. They don't know things, yet they are clued in on all the complicated political top bullshit.
Yeah, their vocabulary is not that wide yet. And it's like, it'd be something like, Mommy, what happened on TV last night? And then Mommy will write a Facebook post sort of taking that one question and turning it into some long political diatribe, like worries over this. My 8-year-old wonders why we're doing X, Y, Z. It's like, what are you doing? You're using your child as a proxy for your own personal bullshit. And
it's like, if my 8-year-old thinks this, it must be true. It's like,
because children, they don't have that kind of filter. Their perspective and voices are completely innocent and pure, so they don't have anything that would bias them, so they must be, a child shall lead them. Whoa. Yeah, whatever.
Well, it reminds me of that old joke. Guy asks, like 5-year-old asks his dad where babies come from, and dad, oh my God, sits him down and gives him this long explanation explaining sex. And at the end of it, his dad goes, well, why did you ask? And he goes, well, Billy's from Wisconsin, so I was wondering where I was from. SDA said it best earlier. You don't need to give kids a long explanation. They're just looking for some quick answer.
Yeah.
That's why you can convince them of Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's why with the gay thing too, when they're like, when Lindsay's like, we need to teach them about gay people. I'm like, my mom's cousin and his partner have been together since before I was born. So I've always known gay people, but I didn't know they were gay because to me it wasn't weird that they lived together or anything like that. And so at some point though, I was like, are they like best friends? And my mom went, yeah. And I went, okay. And then 2 years after I found out about gay people, it still hadn't registered. So I was like, I don't know any gay people. My mom was like,
Yes, you do.
he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you do. And I was like, who? And she was like, so. And I was like, oh, I
When
see
I-
what you did there.
When I was really little, the two, of course, today they're really important things. My little sister, when she saw her first black person, and she was like 3 or something or 4, and she
You
saw
kept
and
her
she,
away from black people till 3? Go you.
well, no, just the part of the
Holy
world I
shit.
lived in. But she saw her first black person or something, and her interpretation of this was like, oh, they're a chocolate person. And that was her interpretation, and that was it. That was as far as it went. It was just so innocent and pure. That was it. And also when I was young, I remember very distinctly there were a couple of girls in my neighborhood who were best friends, and they would smooch, and they were practically like dating essentially for being, and it never seemed weird to me. I mean, nobody ever pointed out to me and said that's bad or that's wrong or something. So the concept was never sort of bad. Although when somebody would accuse me of being a faggot, all I knew was that was a bad word, and I didn't want to be a faggot, whatever that was. So like,
Well,
Well,
I
when
was
we were
little-
growing up,
when I was
when we
little,
were growing up, faggot wasn't gay people. It's like you're a faggot. It's like you're an asshole.
yeah, when I was called retarded, it wasn't like, oh, you're actually mentally retarded. No, you're just
Yeah,
lesser.
you're
That's
not
all it
Down
is.
syndrome.
Yeah.
when I was little, my very first babysitter, and I still know her like to this day, was a black girl. Like to me, she was like an old lady, but she was 17 at the time, and I was like 2. But I distinctly remember her. Like we were sitting with her and my mom, and she was like asking me. She was like, "What color am I?" And I was like, "You're dark brown because she's black." And she was like, "What color is like your mom?" And I was like, "She's tan because my mom's like she's Italian, so she's not like white." But I just remember that because like as a kid, you don't have really any perception of race. You just know that like the person is a slightly different color.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so I just like I don't think like making kids super hyper racially or sexually aware makes any sense.
No, all it does is just point out the differences. And if you focus on the differences, then there's going to be these sort of implanted barriers between, oh, well, I'm different than them.
Right. Like
But-
all
but-
you
but-
have to do is just make it seem like it's no big deal. Like, yeah, their skin
Right.
is a different color. So what? It's
Yeah,
like having your hair be a different color to a kid.
Yeah, I told on the last stream when I was very, very young, I married my best friend. She was the girl that lived up the street, and we had a scary marry where I was Frankenstein and she was a zombie, and we were like 4 or 5 or something. But she, her family was, God, I want to say Middle Eastern or something. I don't remember exactly, but she had comparatively like very olive dark skin. But it never even occurred to me. It was just that's just at the time I had blonde hair, she had black hair. I have light skin, she has darker skin. It's just what's the difference between eye color and skin color ultimately? It determines the exact same thing about you as a person. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I think like I think being like, we need to, beat this into kids when they're 2. I'm like, why would you do that? You're just going to make people racist.
Yeah, 2-year-olds are going to do whatever mommy and daddy say because, well, they don't know any different, and you're the authority figures. If you start drilling into their heads how to be sensitive or hyper aware about somebody's skin color or who they're kissing, or do you think you might be a girl, Jimmy, or some kind of bullshit like that? You're just fucking that kid up. Let him grow up. Let him be a kid. Let him figure things out for himself. I mean, be there to guide him, but don't start. I don't know. I could go on, and I
Yeah.
have, but it just.
Oh, Mara said that that Bubby gets upset with black people. My dog, she's a rescue, and for the first, I think it was like 5 or 6 years that we had her, she saw a black person. She just like freaked out. She was shaking and all sorts of shit. She was racist.
Or were the former owners black or something?
Well, we don't know
Oh, okay.
because she's like a rescue,
Oh,
but
gotcha,
she was
okay.
severely abused. So,
Sure.
and she's from Atlanta, so probably.
Mm.
We had a
That's
racist
racist.
dog, but it was because a black kid threw a rock at her and hit her in the leg, and she had a limp for a while. Didn't break it, but yeah, after that she didn't like him. But it's not like she just hated black people before that. Where we live, I didn't realize how white it was here until my daughter, maybe 8 months old. She had to go to just a checkup at the doctor, and there was a black guy there, and she just stared at him the whole time. I'm like, why is she? Oh, he's the only one that's different here. So it is something kids will notice, but it's not something that they're going to make
It's
a
more
huge
of a
deal out of unless
curiosity
we
thing.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
curiosity.
they're just like, hi, honey, I know it's different, but it's a person. They'll go, oh, okay.
Marty, I'm not just white. I am really fucking white. I'm
Oh,
like
something
see-through
funny.
white.
Something funny that happened, and I don't feel like you'll see it here, but one of my dad's old friends, he lived in New Mexico for 20 years. And Atlanta has a lot of black people, so we have a lot of ghettos, and you get a lot of racists when you live around black people. I'm sorry, but for whatever reason, in congregations, they tend to fuck shit up. I'm sorry, just how it is. And so he's in New Mexico for 20 years. Like, he hasn't heard of Ebonics for 20 years in real life. Like, none of this shit. He comes back to Atlanta, and within 6 weeks of being in Atlanta, he's like quoting Alex Jones at me. He's got a shirt with a chimp on it that says the original N-word.
Nice.
I mean, like, he just went off the walls, and I was like, holy shit.
Well, there's a theory out there. Who is
Black
it I've
people
seen
drove
talking
him
about it? America is a really, really weird place because we are the only country where you have different races so close to each other in such high concentrations. Even as small, I mean, blacks make up what, 15% of the population?
12% of the population. They went down.
Yeah, it was 13 to 12.5, somewhere in there.
Okay, that's still compared to anywhere else in the world where there's white people, except South Africa. That's a really high percentage. And there's a theory that we're just so tribalistic that trying to live together is almost impossible. So anytime you do have blacks and whites that close to each other, racism happens more than people want to talk about.
Well, and I don't know that it's necessarily that, because we've talked about this sort of in sociology, but they talk about it in very derogatory terms, but how Asians are more or less the model minority because they come over, they learn our language, and they just assimilate and act like white people, I guess.
Europeans.
Yeah. Whereas, the black, like, there's a definitive black culture in America. You can't deny that. They segregate themselves. And even the Mexicans, because they won't learn to speak fucking English, segregate themselves. But Asians don't do that.
Well, that's actually that's a modern phenomenon. It didn't used to be that way.
Yeah,
There was
I know,
always
but
like Chinatown. That's where it all comes from. They'd make their own sort of like little world
it is,
inside of
but
everything else.
that's why now they're known as the quote unquote model minority but even like people who have come here directly from Africa assimilate perfectly fine into, I don't want to say like white culture, but I guess I'll just say it that way.
American culture.
And they do perfectly fine.
Yeah, I've known quite a few people who were direct immigrants from Somalia and Zimbabwe, and they learned the language. They it's sort of an odd anecdote, but I've asked several different people from that part of the world. I said, "What do you miss the most about your home?" And on a consistent basis, they always say, vegetables don't taste like vegetables here. Like, apparently the way we process stuff and everything else takes all the flavor out. They're like, I wish I could eat a carrot from home or something like that. It's just very odd. But yeah, I mean, people that come here from other places come here legally. Yeah, they go to great lengths to fit in, to assimilate.
Yeah,
I mean, they still have their knowledge and their culture and their language and their accent and everything else. But it's not like now I'm going to be in my own little world separate.
Yeah,
from this
I think
new land
part of the
come to.
problem is multiculturalism. I think that's the main
Yeah.
issue. And it's not even just multiculturalism with immigrants. Like literally Black culture in America is a giant problem that we have.
Oh, I would agree with that.
It
Absolutely.
is a huge fucking problem. Because like with Black culture, you know, if you don't speak Ebonics, I don't give a shit. It's not really a thing. Like it's a thing, but you're just speaking wrong. Because unless you give rednecks that too, it doesn't count.
Did you ever see the TED Talk where the girl was saying that proper English is racist?
Yeah. Well, and like I said,
Yeah,
you
fucking
know,
racist language.
you know, because they call it AAVE, African American Vernacular English. I'm like, RNVE,
What?
Redneck Vernacular English.
Oh my god.
Do we get that? Because if we don't get that, then shut the hell up. But either way, you know, you have like if Black people don't speak that way, they'll get bullied for acting white.
I remember when Ebonics. I mean, I remember it first came to prominence in the grand sphere of things, like back in the '90s. And I remember there was this skit. It's the weirdest thing that I have this memory, but there was this skit on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where it was called the Ebonic Plague.
Oh my god.
And so they had this room full of like, you know, white people, and suddenly there's this mist that came in, and they were all talking to each other, and all of a sudden they started talking jive and all this other stuff, and they're all going nuts, like, oh my god, what's wrong? And this guy walks in a hazmat suit, and he says, everyone calm down, okay? Everyone calm down. Everything will be all right. You've just been infected. We have an inoculation. It's pretty much watching Full House, and then after you do that for a little while. But calm down. Everything will be all right. Everything be okay. Be okay. Be okay. There be a hole in my suit. that was so funny. And if you did that today, you would be burned to the fucking ground.
I don't know why people have the idea that Ebonics was like, it's a relic from the slave. No, it's not.
Well, it's like Kwanzaa. It's like we've made up this thing that will be just us, so we can therefore now separate us even more from everyone.
Yeah, no, like like Ebonics is a new. Shut up.
Well, here's
from the slave days, you idiots.
The problem I have with all of this. Hey, Marty.
Hey guys.
Hey, Marty.
Good. Pardon my stutter, but go ahead. I'll add what I gotta add after you're done.
You sound like I imagine you feel right now.
You really do. You all right, bud?
Yeah.
I'll talk about it probably tomorrow on Mama's stream. I don't want to. I've been obsessing over this all day.
Okay.
Well, cool. Let's see if we can get your mind off it. You said you had a unique perspective here. What you got?
Well, the thing about multiculturalism is it's the idea of a melting pot is that it's supposed to melt. This whole self-segregation thing. One of the reasons I love the Roman Empire so much was because it was a nation of many cultures: the Gallics, the Hispanics, the Latins, the Greeks. But the reason it works so well is because they were all working together to a set goal. They weren't dividing themselves up into little subgroups. I mean, during the time later when the empire split, yeah, there was the Greek East and the Latin West, but that wasn't really always a thing. And everybody brought their own thing. I mean, architecture.
I think that's the other thing, that like in a true melting pot, you're not going to get mad at somebody for cultural appropriation. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when they built, when they started building the Roman amphitheaters, you didn't see Greek guys going around going, "You're appropriating my Greek culture by taking my amphitheaters away." No. They went to the Colosseum and said, "Yeah, this is awesome. This is great." And the Roman military was probably the best example of this. I mean, their helmet was inspired by a combination of Etruscan and Gallic influences. Their shield was Samnite. Their sword was Spanish. So many different things all went into this, and all working towards a goal of melting together and making what already exists better. But in our modern day and age, people are trying to self-segregate themselves, trying to keep these things separate so that it remains pure, which I believe is their idea. But you can't have a homogenous culture inside of a multicultural
Yeah, and it's
society.
weird because I don't feel like most people really feel that way, because if you travel and you go to other countries, like usually the locals there are super happy to show you their culture. Like it would be like if somebody came here and was like, take me to a baseball game and like eat hot dogs, and you'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go tailgate. That sounds like fun. And like you want to show your culture off to people. That's how people feel. And I think it's interesting because I feel like most people who get mad about cultural appropriation are people who haven't actually grown up in the culture that they're claiming other people are trying to appropriate.
Well, we have that. It's the virtue signaling. I'm going to be offended for other people. The one video I did on cultural appropriation was a little white girl bitching about people wearing the wrong costumes. It wasn't, you know, a Native American sitting there going, you shouldn't dress like this. It was a little fucking white girl.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I've seen several videos where it's like a Japanese guy is it's like his girl. It's like an adorable video. It's like this little white girl and his Japanese boyfriend and her Japanese boyfriend in Japan, and she's like, so if somebody was wearing a kimono, how would you feel? And he was like they were wearing a kimono.
Yeah.
And he was like, what would you do? You know, she was like, would you be offended if they were wearing it wrong? And he was like, no, we'd just kind of be a little bit embarrassed for them. And like maybe helpfully try to fix it. And then she's asked, you know, if somebody were to want to design a fashion line based on a kimono or something.
What I was saying right before Marty joined, I unfortunately at my age, I got to watch a lot of this shitstorm take place because, and I've said this before, back in the 80s and early 90s, we were actually getting to where we need to be culturally as the melting pot. Everything was coming together. Everybody was starting to get along. You didn't see as much racial tension. And then everything just started. You had your, we got the end of color blindness. Suddenly being colorblind was a horrible thing. And one of the things I've always thought about America and why it has worked so well is because we take so many cultures, because we have so many people from all over the world, we get to choose the best of everything. In Japan, they have Japanese people. They're not going to get a great German.
Well, I always said, I got a laugh for this in high school. I always said America was the Puff Daddy of culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's actually a good analogy.
Yeah, you take bits and pieces of the stuff that works and put it all together.
Well, I think that's, I mean, and I don't know, like, I feel like learning about other cultures and that kind of stuff, it's not a bad thing. And I don't know why people act like it is. Like, if I learn about something from another culture, whether that person teaches me or whatever, and I decide to use it, like maybe it's, I don't know, like an extra thing you do at Christmas or something like that. I don't know.
Do you think that the
like, why not?
Do you think that you were talking, Monkey, about how we were reaching sort of getting closer to the ideal not too long ago? Do you think that is what spurred on the sudden move back towards segregation and separation and divisiveness? Because I mean, when the religious, like when the churches stop getting attended, then the religious get more religious to try to compensate, and because they're angry and scared. Do you think that was get things getting better is what spurred things on to get worse?
Yeah, in a way, yes, because there are people who make their living off of strife. Jesse Jackson makes his living off of racial tension. So if racial tension is ending, he's got to get a real job. And so every time, I mean, just the tiniest little thing gets blown up. It's why, like right now, we have so many of these stories of people who we just had. Mundane Matt did a video about a waitress who somebody had wrote on her receipt that they don't tip black people. Well, the person who did that came forward and goes, I didn't do that.
Right.
And it turns out that the receipt was a copy and somebody else had signed it. And people are so willing to believe that because there are certain people who make their money off of donations to fight racism. They can't make that money if racism isn't there.
Right. It's an
so industry. They have to. Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, they blew it up. And then you have the introduction of intersectionality, which just has made everything so fucking stupid.
Real quick, I just want to say, Hidden Figures got snubbed at the Oscars, and I'm upset because that was
Who
a
did?
good fucking movie.
Oh, was it? I didn't even see it.
It really was good.
Okay.
I was kind of expecting it to be like, because it's about 3 Black women who worked for NASA, and it's literally about the shit that they did to just get their jobs done and get what they. It was honestly, it was a really inspiring story. And you guys should go see it if you haven't seen it because it's actually good.
Right. I thought it was another sort of like, look at us, we're glorifying Black people again.
Yeah, no,
kind
it's
of thing.
it's really not. And my dad's 60. Yeah, he's 60, and he's 61. Holy shit. Anyway, sorry. And so he remembers segregation. And in the movie, segregation is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because like my mom and I saw it and we were like, you have to see this. It's so good. And he said it was probably the most accurate depiction of what racism was like in the day. So it's not necessarily over the top. Some of the stuff shocked me because, I've never lived in a world where segregation is a thing. So some of the stuff, the first time I saw it, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, most people complaining about racism these days have never lived in a world where segregation was a thing, yet somehow we're only 2 steps away from it, they say.
Right. So some of the stuff, the first time I saw it was a little bit shocking. But like I said, that's because, to me, it was like, why would you care about that? But no, it's really just about what these women did to get their jobs done and to just advance themselves despite despite the obstacles that they faced. And it's really good. And my dad and I were talking about it, and I was like, maybe because the story is about Black women actually going out and proving that they can do something, that's why it got snubbed.
Oh, because they weren't like acting like victims, or weren't. I mean,
No,
they
were
were
like,
victims. Yeah.
like talk about a bunch of strong women who just like got their shit done. Like that was what was so cool about it, because it reminded me, I guess, of like my grandmother and that kind of thing. So, because like my grandmother owned drugstores in the 60s and 70s while women were out burning their bras. So
Drugstores, is that what they call crack houses back then?
yeah.
Nice. Oh, damn it.
What?
My brain is just mush.
Oh,
Well, this is why we need the audience to help us. Ask us something. Give us something to work with, guys.
No, Marty, jump in there. What were you gonna say?
While we're waiting for the chat to catch up, there's also another contributing factor to things getting worse in terms of race relations, that there is this inherent selfishness. And I'll give you an example. For instance, when color blindness had reached its peak, say I'm interacting with a Black dude and he's like, yeah, so I'm Black. Okay, I don't care. And, that's where you get the whole, oh, you're just devaluing my struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, bro, I have my own struggle. Well, my struggle's more important. And you pile that on with a whole bunch of oppressed people sitting around going, yeah, our struggle is way more important than yours. And then you get a whole movement of, if you don't see color, you devalue their shared experience, their shared struggle.
Yeah, progressive stack stuff.
Exactly.
Well, see, I think that's actually still part of the whole race baiting industry, because that's what helps.
It pays to be a victim.
Yeah, absolutely. And people are fucking stupid and fall for it. And I was watching Poison the Well today, and it was their video about Tanya Mojo. And I had missed it in the original video, but she actually claims in there that there are still people alive who were slaves in the United States.
No way.
She actually fucking says it. 150 years ago, we fought a war to stop this shit. And oh my, people are dumb.
Does she know any vampires? Like, is that
probably?
That must be it.
But that's how
dumb as a
Dumb
fucking
people are.
skunk.
Well, no, she can't possibly know vampires because not only did Abraham Lincoln free the slaves, he also slayed the vampires.
That's right. That's right.
My dad loves that movie.
Yeah, and don't you know that Wilt Chamberlain ran the Underground Railroad?
Nice. Oh man, did we have questions pop up? Is anybody watching chat?
Kind of.
Nobody's ask questions.
Somebody asked who would win in a fight, Batman or Spider-Man, and I think if Batman had time to plan, Batman. If Batman had no time to plan, probably Batman.
Yeah.
There's actually a channel who does those kind of things, and
Oh,
in
yeah.
their Spidey one.
Oh yeah, there's two channels that do that. There's the superhero beatdown, and then there's I can't remember the other one, but they do one does it based on the mathematics, and one does it based solely on like a popularity poll.
Yeah, the Wolverine versus Wonder Woman beatdown video was amazing. Like
Misogyny.
Oh, so good. I know. Well, no, she won. She won the
Okay.
fight, but then they had the alternative version where kind of they both lost. But yeah, it was brutal. It was, and the costume.
Screw Attack.
Did Screw Attack?
No, I mean somebody in the chat
Oh,
name the other one that I couldn't remember.
oh, okay, yeah. But the superhero beatdown, they go to extreme lengths to get the costumes right, to get the actors to act just like the comic book versions. It's great.
Oh, that's actually a good question. Who would you rather have protecting your city if you had kids, Batman or the Punisher? Do you go for the vigilante who won't kill, or the one who thinks it's the best way? Personally, I gotta lean towards the Punisher because some people just need to go.
Yeah, the pragmatic part of me says the Punisher, but in reality, if he got caught, I wouldn't shed a tear because he is a murderer.
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I can see your in your own mind, I can understand your justification, but you still did just slaughter a whole bunch of people who conceivably could have just done a couple of years of time and led clean lives afterwards. You don't get to be Judge Dredd. But in the comic books, Punisher is my favorite forever and ever, and he can keep just murdering people forever.
Yeah.
Someone asked me if I watch sports. I would say no, but if you put me in front of a TV and put football on, I will yell at the TV. So reluctantly, yes, I really do enjoy watching sports.
Is porn a sport? Because I watch sports.
It can be.
Yeah.
What, do
Especially
you have
when
a
it's like-
favorite team, SDA?
Well, my mom likes the Giants because her dad liked the Giants, and I'm from Atlanta. So,
You're a Falcons fan?
can I help you?
No.
And then my cousin's boyfriend is on the Patriots. So, yeah, that wasn't
Ooh.
a fun night. I don't want to talk about it.
God, it's a sensitive subject.
Yeah, I know it is. Okay, so I went to get my hair done the other day, and this woman walks in a Patriots sweatshirt, and she was like full blown from New England, and I didn't know people actually spoke like this, right? And she was like, I just didn't know what to do after it happened. I did because we always wear our Patriot shirts on Mondays because it's Monday Night Football, but I didn't know, so I called ahead. I called ahead to work, and I said, is it too soon? Is it too soon? And they said, you know what, it's not too soon. But just don't say anything. And I was like, okay, because I wanted to say something, but I felt so bad. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody actually says that. Like,
Yep.
he talks like that. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah, that Long Island accent will kill you.
Oh, hell, you should hear like native Wisconsin's. Holy cow. Oh.
Don't you know?
Yeah, don't you know? You
Don't
betcha.
you know?
You betcha.
That was a first on a monkey stream. Nobody's ever said, I went to get my hair done the other day. That struck me funny.
Men don't get their hair done, they get their hair cut.
Yeah, well, I had to get my roots done because you can't know that my hair's fake.
What color's your real hair?
Now we do.
My real hair is it's really dark. It's really dark red.
Ooh. I
You're a
like
ginger.
redheads.
It's exotic and stuff.
So I lighten it to ginger because I felt like it. Yeah.
I'm actually finally starting to get my gray coming in good.
Oh yeah, I got gray.
Oh, are you old too?
Yes, I am
Oh,
32. I
fuck
just turned
you.
32 a few weeks ago.
32. Yeah. 37. I got gray in my beard. Well, with my tiny little like sort of Van Dyke beard, and my hair thankfully is sort of like silver. It's not like gray. I got like silver and dark brown, so it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, my beard these days, I'm starting to get the Santa look. It's going all white.
Uh-oh.
My hair actually just has highlights of gray in it, so it's not too bad yet. My wife thinks it's funny as hell because she still looks 20.
You can always dye it.
No, I'm a dude. We don't dye our
I
hair.
was just about
Wait,
to,
wait.
I was just about to say
Grecian
that.
formula for men, dude.
No.
Well,
That just makes you
my
old and
uncle
gay.
did it because he didn't go gray. He went totally white. So him dyeing his hair,
racist.
it made him go from looking about 30 to looking about 60, and it was like, you need to dye your hair.
If my hair has to change, I would prefer it go all white. I like that.
No,
look better.
my aunt was like, you're dyeing your hair.
No, I'd want I would do the best I could to get the Sean Connery look from Red October.
Oh yeah, that's right. Marco Ramius.
Yes. Mainly because my wife still thinks he's like the sexiest thing ever. I'm like, he's like 900 years old,
But he's
No,
still
he's
Sean
not.
Connery.
but he's like 800. Well,
He'll
900.
never stop being Sean Connery.
But
that's
he's
all you need to know.
hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
But he's
hot.
hot.
Even though
Yeah.
he's like a wife beater.
Is he?
Oh, so if you
I
want
can
to,
deal with that.
yeah, you want to see
Was it
something funny?
Playboy?
No, it was the famous one was when he was doing an interview with Barbara Walters. I think it
Barbara
was.
Walters, yeah.
And he talks about having to, he occasionally have to smack him around because they just won't behave themselves or something. It's just like, and she's like, what?
Is he married?
Bitches need to act right.
He is or has been. I forget which one it is.
Because I can get in there because he'll die soon. What? I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
That was like that video of when Jennifer Lawrence was first relatively new, and like she's at the Oscars or whatever, and Jack Nicholson comes up behind her, and she says, she looks behind her, and Jack Nicholson's looking at her, and she says, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "Oh, you just look like an old girlfriend of mine," and she says, "New girlfriend?" And he says, "Maybe," and he walks away. It's just they got this on camera. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson, I have a large amount of respect for Jack Nicholson just because he has reached that point where he is so freaking famous and has done everything that he can say whatever he wants and we will still love him.
Well, look, I mean, if anybody who's about to die wants to be my sugar daddy, I'm not going to be upset.
Nice.
Wow, that's how
fucking love-
magnanimous of you.
This
Jeez,
is
what a-
why SDA gets invited to the stream. She is a
I
hardcore bitch.
You do realize you have to touch old wrinkly man genitals, right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
so.
No, I think we
It's
need to
worth
change the. I think we need to
It's
change
worth it.
we need to change the S to a saintly dumb American because it's so benevolent.
There was that guy, I forget his name, but he married an old woman for her money. She was like, Howard Stern used to have him on all the time. And he would ask him about, the sex. And it's creepy to think about.
Well, it's
Someone
like-
just
But
said,
as you,
SDA just proved MGTOW's right. Like, but MGTOWs think
no, she didn't.
MGTOWs think that we're under the table. I'm not under the table
Hey.
about it. I'm not
An-
under the table about anything. Okay.
Anna Nicole Smith. She married
Sorry.
that 90-year-old Texas oil guy,
Mhm.
and it turned into a big fight after he died for whose money it was and all that bullshit.
Did
Anna
you
Nicole
play-
Smith had one of my favorite quotes ever. My wife used to watch her show all the time.
Yeah.
And she's talking about her friend's birthday. And I swear to God, she said, my friend's birthday is on Halloween this year. I'm like, if your friend's birthday is on Halloween this year,
What?
it's on Halloween every fucking year.
Anna Nicole Smith was just a absolute character.
She was a
hilarious.
dumpster fire of a human.
Oh, she was, but she was an entertaining dumpster fire.
Yes,
No,
she was.
like-
She was funny.
My thing is this, okay? I don't have to lie. Like MGTOWs think that I'm not. Like I will tell you that I don't want anything out of you. Like I've said, I would never date you. If my life
Reverse
depended on
psychology.
it.
reverse psychology.
No, like I've
Anything out of
said
you.
that, and like they'll still do whatever I want them to do. That's not my fault. You're just a faggot.
Oh my god.
It's not my fault you're pussy whipped. You're just a faggot.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Like I told you, I don't want it.
Well, we had this conversation the other day, and there was no woman here, so you're here. Dude, you have a circle of female friends, I'm assuming. How many of you actually like the metrosexual, damn near gay kind of guy?
No.
Well, not just yourself, but like your greater group of friends.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Like, why would we? You're not like a man.
Well, that's where we're being pushed as a society, for men to be less manly, to be almost women. And I don't understand why, because I don't know any women who like men like that. I don't know any women who like
yeah.
bitch men.
No, like we don't. This is the thing too, is that because I do this for fun, because I'm a terrible person, like we can sniff you out if you're a little bitch.
You sniff men? You can make some money doing that.
Yeah, well,
We're back to the dirty underwear.
Mhm.
like we can tell that you're a little faggot. And so if we know that, and we know that we can push you around, like it's not fun for us if you don't push back.
See, I would agree with that.
Because like if you don't push back, then I'm gonna get bored. Because we like to find your line and stand on it.
and jump across it with abandon.
Yeah, and then you have to be like, no, shut up, smack. And we're like, okay, all right. And then
Sounds
if you
like-
don't do
sounds
that,
like my kind of party.
and then like if you don't kind of smack us back, then it's not fun. We get bored.
This is what the one place I do agree with
You
MGTOW.
can either be a person or you can be a toy. Pick one.
This is where one place I agree with MGTOW is that women will give you shit tests. They will see how far they can push you. And if you just let them keep pushing, they're going to find somebody who, like you said, fights back a little.
See, it's not that like I don't really like that you call it a shit test, because
Well, that's what it is.
it's a shit test if you fail it. It's not necessarily
If you
a
fail
shit
it.
test. We're trying to figure out how much testosterone you have.
Can I just show you my nuts?
No, like we got to know if you can act like a human being with 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 agency. Because if you just let us walk all over you, we're not having any fun. You're upset. We're upset. It's a mess.
See, and for the record, for me, it's the same way. When the reason that my wife is she is the only girl I knew who would fight back with me. Everyone else would just, no matter, I could say the dumbest shit to somebody. My girlfriend at the time came to my house, and I was in bed with another girl, and I always had my bedroom door locked. So she knocks on. I'm like, oh shit. And I told her that I was in there making her a present, and so she couldn't come in. I swear to God. And so she
I'd be
left.
like, are you fucking kidding me? No, you're not.
And that's why
doing?
That's why she is not my wife. Because I really liked her, but she was a doormat, and there's nothing fun about that. What is going on in chat? What are we fighting about? Are we fighting about immigration?
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw something about illegal.
See, this is why I really should pay more attention to
we got
chat.
you gotta get to that point where you can put like the chat into the stream.
Yeah, I know. I need that better computer. We need more donations, guys.
Someone
right.
said SDA isn't hot enough to be such a bitch. I disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah, well,
Immigration and LeVar Burton.
It's working out for me.
Are we going to go back to Kunta Kinte? What are we talking about?
Somebody asked me, like, would you say that women prefer a guy who's secure in his masculinity and confident in himself over over a spineless? I mean, obviously, but like, if you're just like a confident person in general and you have,
Yeah, but you can't exactly be a complete rock and be attractive. I mean, there is a certain aspect to both sides of the equation that you have to be wanted. You know, there has to be a notion that you are necessary, and that you're not just, you know, a thing or someone just to fight with. That there's a desire there. I mean, a guy can't be a complete asshole. He's got to at least show that the girl
Right.
is important to him.
It's
in
not
some
even
fashion.
that like you're
Yeah.
confident in your masculinity. Like quit overthinking it. Just be a person with boundaries and like be yourself. Seriously.
And
Just
what
like act like a human. Like don't overthink it. Because maybe you're not masculine and that's okay. But as long as you're like comfortable with yourself, you're going to have boundaries and you're going to be assertive if you're a confident person, whether you're quote unquote masculine or not. And that's the important thing.
All right, I gotta go, guys. I gotta get up early in the morning tomorrow, and I'm already starting to get tired because I was up way too late last night.
Okay.
But
yeah, I really should be working on a video right now. the one that'll be out next year with me and SDA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys
Oh.
for coming. Thank you everybody for watching.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And Marty, you're
yes,
invited
sir.
anytime you want to, and we'll hook you up through Minds there. And I really do hope you change your mind. Because I like your videos. I really do. You're a smart guy and I enjoy it. Don't forget
thank
to
you.
check out everybody's channel. I will be linking them below. Thanks for coming. I will see you next time.